about the Safdies?
Okay, so as many people have noticed this year, the Safdies had a breakup. So Benny and Josh split up, I guess, in 2023, but it's really come to roost this year because they both had big Oscar-run movies. Benny did The Smashing Machine, which was The Rock's vehicle, and Emily Blunt. And then Josh Safdie did Marty Supreme, which of course has become a runaway hit with like 9 nominations for Oscars, whereas The Smashing Machine only had 1, and it was in a minor category. So people would say that Josh won. However, it is being brought back to light. The New York Post did a video about it, rehashing why they broke up in the first place. And basically, the reason that was explained was their breakout movie was Good Time, which came out in 2017, and it starred Robert Pattinson. And basically, it was produced by Sebastian Bear McLeod. If you don't remember that name, that was Emily Ratajkowski's ex and baby daddy. What we know from just being in New York and knowing people who know people is essentially Sebastian was a big-time New York City drug dealer who wanted to go legitimate. And so their production company basically became the way he funneled money into bank accounts. It was a front for him. It was a way to legitimize himself. If you have a lot of money and you want to be respected in the cool, cultural, artsy crowd, you can become a movie producer. Also, if you're a fucking pervert and a pedophile and a predator, becoming a movie producer is kind of like the easiest way to legitimize that as well. It's very much money and sex laundering. So what came out in this New York Post interview was essentially that in the divorce filings between Emily Ratajkowski and Sebastian Bear McLeod, it came to light that he was basically having sex with underage girls on their set and that he used their movie Good Times specifically. And the big event was that specifically he used it to hire a 17-year-old girl, kind of trick her and lie to her about what was happening on the set. And then she had a naked sex scene where she was then like harassed and propositioned by a former prisoner on camera. The camera was being held by Josh. Josh is more of the film guy. Benny, I guess, is more of the editor. He wasn't aware what was happening. His feeling is that a good director on set should have yelled cut when this woman, what happened was the prisoner said to the 17-year-old girl, "What if I stick it in you for real and on camera?" He should have called cut. They didn't. The scene didn't actually even make it into the movie. The girl was not paid in any way. It wasn't until the divorce proceedings that it came out, allegedly, that the girl was 17 years old the whole time. Like, in addition to her having a bad experience on the set.
She was assaulted either way, but she was also a minor.
And when Benny found this out, he was really horrified by Josh and the fact that apparently Josh had known the whole time, or that Josh was like less upset about it and said like, "I can't work with you. You don't just grow morals a few years later. Now that I'm seeing what kind of person you are and what you'd allow, like I can't work with you." So I think this has been a bit swept under the rug, mostly because it's been dripped to us. It's been like truth dripped to us in that first these allegations came out and they were so founded around Sebastian Bear McLeod that maybe the Safdie brothers were left unscathed. And then a few years later, they broke up. Like, we've been sitting with the fact that clearly they're not friends anymore for about a year or two. And now it's come out that the reason one brother got mad at the other brother was because of this situation. And I think a lot of people are going, "Oh, but didn't we already know this?" So none of it is hitting as hard as two brothers have broken up their directorial arrangement over the fact that one of them has no problem with underage girls being assaulted. But when you say it like that, it's pretty bad. And I also think because it feels like there's so many ways to hide behind, well, he didn't know she was 17. Well, he didn't know that she was uncomfortable. Like, I think because nothing is being said, or it feels like you can kind of hide all of the information and kind of crumb it around, it's not as heavy an anchor. But when you go back and read the original Variety article about the findings about Sebastian I can't say his whole name the whole time. It's
Bear McLeod.
It's, well, pick one word.
McLeod. No, Bear.
I don't want to call him Bear. That feels adorable.
Okay.
Sebastian.
McLeod.
Okay. Hereforth on known as just McLeod. Emrata's ex. I'll call him that.
Yeah, that's easier.
And I feel like that's more important.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you go back and read the original Vulture article about Emrata's ex and what he was doing, it wasn't just this 17-year-old girl that he found online and DM'd personally and used the fact that she was like apparently from like a really underprivileged background, struggling in New York City, 17 years old, was told, "Oh, Robert Pattinson's in this movie. You can meet him and be in a scene with him." She was not told that she was expected to get naked. She was not told that she was expected to have sex. She was not told that it was not even with Robert Pattinson, that she'd never get to meet him. He wasn't on set that day. She also didn't have any adults or agents or management present. They then went on. He paid her with a pack of cigarettes at the end. She's like, "They didn't even pay me for that day." Her name is still technically in the credits, but the scene got cut. And then on top of that, they had like a consensual sexual relation for 2 more years, her and Emrata's ex. That is legal in the state of New York. The age of consent in New York is 17. But also, it was reported that he had sex with a 15-year-old on set, that he was often using his name as the Safdie brother producer to DM underage girls and have sex with them. And another girl he assaulted, he called many slurs. When she called him on it, he like just kind of laughed. He bragged about having sex with a 15-year-old to this girl. He, by the way, is like 10 years older than Emrata. He's currently 43. So he really was like a 40-year-old man having sex with 15-year-olds. So he was absolutely repulsive and disgusting. A lot of people came forward and said he was quite racist and like used slurs all the time and like hurled them at people. So I think when you think about it this way, I think because it's been pitched to us as like this one event that happened 6 years ago that wasn't exactly either of them's fault. It's like slowly broken them up over the time. Clearly what was happening was they had let this guy be a part of their team because he was bringing the money. They got some notoriety. They probably didn't need his money as much anymore. And on top of that, he was probably using the notoriety from their names to do even more fucked up sicko shit. And clearly Josh did not have a problem with that. Yeah. And I think it goes so far beyond like, well, did he know that she was 17 that day on set that one time? No. What was he condoning? What was he a part of? I think, not to bring up the Epstein files, but it's like, yeah, having sex with this 15-year-old girl is fucking disgusting and horrible. Just below that is having dinner with a guy who's having sex with a 15-year-old girl and like laughing and having fun with it.
Right.
And it seems though, if I were to guess, Benny was disgusted and Josh was not.
Yeah.
I think it's a much bigger deal than like just this one moment. I think this is the one moment they can catch them on probably. But I guess Josh is somebody who's very much okay with being in a milieu where power and money is used to manipulate and assault and harass teenage girls.
Yeah. And I think it's also
racistly.
I'm sorry. Ben is the good one. Josh is the bad one.
Yeah. Ben was in Oppenheimer.
Okay.
Boppenheimer, if that helps. Benny Oppenheimer, Boppenheimer.
And Marty Supreme is the bad one.
Yes. I also hesitate to call anyone a good one.
Right. You know, this begs the question of if this is what's happening when you are on a set, like what behavior were they around off a set? You know what I like?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is the crowd that they are rolling with. If this is what's happening in a room full of cameras, what's happening in other rooms?
I feel like whatever comes up to the surface, you have to believe is an iceberg situation. Very rarely do men in this kind of power do one bad thing one single time by accident. And that's the whole exact story that you heard, every bad detail. It's always like just a tiny little piece of somebody who was coming forward is also always like a pattern of behavior that was only going to get worse and worse and worse. And if this is how he was acting before they even were bought by A24, like once they had success, what was he doing next?
Yeah. God, something I really hate, and I do think it is an absolute flag marker for who is going to be a fucked up person, is the directors who do this thing where they like have to cast the realest non-actor people in order to get the realest, rawest reaction. And it's like, or direct good. Direct people to act the way you want them to act. Like, what do you mean you have to pull and make this like weird pseudo documentary with people who like don't have the resources or understanding of the industry that an actor would? Because to me, it feels like a direct path to being able to take advantage of someone.
Yeah, I don't know if like 100% I agree with it, but I do think that this Sean Baker, if you don't know, was the guy who did Anora, this idea of like, we're going to like move fast and break shit, this innovation, fuck the union, fuck the rules. It's easier to get forgiveness than permission way of making films does hurt people. Like I know Odessa Zion gave this interview on Late Night about joking about how long they were being kept to do the very last scene. And Fran Drescher was there being like, I have to go home. It's like past my SAG rule. Like she was the literal president of SAG and he was keeping there beyond what her stipulations are. And I do think like the flagrant disrespect of union rules and safety and like this obsession
with like real art has to be down and dirty.
Yeah. Brother, you got millions and millions and millions of dollars and Timmy Chalamet acting a fool at SNL. You're not iconoclast. You're not an anarchist. You're just a fucking shill for the ping pong industry. Big ping pong.
Big ping pong sold billions of orange balls for this. They got the biggest orange ball in the world over at that Las Vegas Sphere, and you think you're the underdog?
Anyway, so that's a little insight to carry you forth into this Oscar season. I just miss the good old days when things were easy and all of the movies were produced by Harvey Weinstein, a man you could trust.
I miss the days when actors just had to sign over their life rights to a studio and then they like lived at the studio and were forced to be in like 20 movies a year.
I'm looking forward to the days when actors get to sign over their life rights and have AI do all the work for them in perpetuity. Oh, are you sad that your favorite actor died? Not in the future. Your actor never lived in the first place. That was an amalgamation of sexy, racially ambiguous girls.